Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode, I guess, of Sovereign's Non-Meta Tournament number 4. This is going to be round number 4, and I have a very interesting feature match for you guys today. So we have Baloney TTV, who is on Evil Eye, and we have seen him in a previous tournament, and we have a very interesting list from Malefic Lord down at the bottom. He is playing Zefra Infernoble Knight, so it is a very crazy deck. We're going to go ahead and get into this match. Unfortunately, there are a couple disconnects in this match, but we will get there when we get there, pretty much. So, looks like I didn't see who won the rock, paper, scissors, but I believe Baloney did because he's going to be taking first. I believe both of these are going first decks. And unfortunately, he drew a brick, which is Gateway to Chaos. This has no effect in his deck. It is a brick, which you should see the card or like how he uses it here in a second. But Sergio is going to be normal summon, which adds an Evil Eye card from the deck to the hand. I'm assuming he's going to add Celine. Yep. And he's just going to go ahead and equip Celine to the Sergio. So each time your opponent, you activate the equip monster's effect or another Evil Eye spell or trap card, the equip monster gains 500 attack and defense, and you lose 500 defense, or 500 life points, sorry. And that is a attack gain that is permanent on the monster, and it will stay even if Celine leaves the field. So it is pretty cool. Unfortunately, this is a non-once return effect, so if you keep activating your Evil Eye cards and your Evil Eye monster's effect, you could lose the game off of it. So it is mandatory as well. So it is not a you can effect. It has to apply as soon as it can in the next chain. So I believe it will activate as many times as possible. So like if two Evil Eye cards are chained, so like if Awakening is activated, then like Surzeal's chained or something, it should stack in the next chain. However, I'm not 100% on that ruling. That's how I ruled it for this tournament in general, just because it doesn't have a once per turn clause on it, but we'll get there when we get there. So Evil Eye Awakening is activated here, which special summons a Evil Eye monster from the hand or grave. And if Evil Eye Celine is in the spell and trap zone, you can special one from your deck instead. So he's going to then, in a new chain, use the Celine, which I think he chained it to it directly, but it's definitely activates in a new chain. So he's going to get a Catobella. I don't even know how to pronounce these, honestly. Catoblepes. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I could be completely wrong. In fact, that sounds really wrong. Evil Eye Repose is going to go ahead and banish an Evil Eye card out of the graveyard and draw a card. And Celine also activates here to lose 500 and gain 500 on Sergio. Then he's going to use the effect of Catoblepas. And that is to basically protect Celine, I believe it is. I think that's what he's protecting. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that's what he's doing. So Malefic Lord's going to start his turn with a copy of Dragon Shrine, sending Dark Orb to the graveyard. Dark Orb's effect is going to special summon itself back and search for a copy of Gate 0. Then he's going to go ahead and activate Zephyr Providence, searching for Zephyrath. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Heritage of the Chalice to add a Noblite monster or a Noble Arms card from the deck to hand. He's going to add Infernoble Knight, Ogier. So Ogier's effect is going to normal summon. It's going to be normal summoned here, and then it's basically like a Foolish Burial for Infernobles or Noble Arms cards. So he's going to send Oliver to the graveyard. Next, he's going to go ahead and activate Renaud's effect. Renaud, I don't know how to pronounce this, actually. I'm pretty bad with pronouncing these cards, as you can tell. And it's going to get its effect to target a Fire Warrior in the grave or an equip spell and add it to the hand. He's obviously adding the Oliver here. And then he can go ahead and activate Durendal. And he's going to equip it to Ogier, and then he's going to use its effect to go ahead and add a level 5 or lower Fire Warrior from the deck to hand, which is Malgus here. Then he's going to go ahead and overlay it into a copy of Tornado Dragon before he commits more into the board, and that is going to be chained here. I guess not chained, but on the summon, he's going to activate the effect of Sergio to go ahead and target a special summon monster on the field and destroy it. Tornado Dragon's going to be chained here to go ahead and pop a card. I think that card is chained here, which is Evil Eye Defeat, to target 2 monsters on the field and return them to the hand. I think he's just opting to choose just one here, obviously, since it's in chain. Unless if he Oh yeah, so I guess he did target the Tornado Dragon, so that is going to be going to the extra deck also. I'm not sure why he put it back in the extra deck. He probably should have just let it go to grave, since this is up 2. So he doesn't have to target 2, he can target up to 2. Then Zefrath is going to be scaled here, and he's going to use the effect to send Zefra Nui to the extra deck. Then he's going to scale gate 0. Now he has a pendulum scale of 7 as well as 0, and he can pendulum summon between 1 and 6. So he's going to summon Zefra Nui, Maugus, Renaud, Oliver, and Zefra Nui. And then Zefra Nui's effect and Zefraxi's effect. Sorry, I think I said Zefra Nui for Zefraxi, but this is Zefraxi. And then so Zefra Nui Chainlink 1, Zefraxi Chainlink 2 to make this a level, or sorry, not a level, but a tuner. And then he's going to go ahead and search for a copy of Divine Strike. So, if you can see the synergy in this deck, I know I sure couldn't at the beginning, but you can go ahead and synchro Zefra Nui, which is a tuner, and Zefraxi, which is a non-tuner, into your copy of Charles, because Charles is a level 9 monster. So that is a really cool interaction here. And he is going to go ahead and, I believe, equip Oliger from the graveyard to Charles, because while it's in the grave, you can just equip it to a warrior monster. And then you can use Charles' effect to target a card on the field and destroy it. So he's going to destroy Celine, but that is going to be protected by Catabelus's protection effect, obviously. Then he's going to go ahead and synchro rather, into an Omega. And then he's going to use Oliver to equip to Charles. And I believe Charles is not a once per turn effect. Actually, it might be. I don't know. Let's see. So in equip cards, target one card on the field, destroy. You can only use each effect. Yeah, so it is a once per turn effect. So he can't get a second effect on it. But it is going to be pretty large here, because I believe these do give it boosts in its attack power, although I'm not 100%. Oliver does not give it a boost, actually, and neither does Ogier. I don't think he gives himself a boost either, so I think he's just stuck at this 3,000 attack. And he's going to use Omega to attack over his monster, and I think he's attempting to use Charles to attack. I think he didn't realize that Celine rather gives it a boost. He's at 36. He's just going to let it go through. I think it's not destroyed by battle or whatever, so yeah. And Repose, I believe, doesn't trigger here as well, because it says if your Evil Eye monster attacked an opponent's monster, his Evil Eye monster didn't attack because obviously it's not his turn. Charles attacked. It wasn't Surzeal that attacked, so he can't use its effect. So unfortunately, I think he clogged his back row, so he can't really use this Divine Strike, so he's just gonna have to pass his turn here. Surzeal is going to use its mandatory effect since it popped Tornado Dragon in the previous turn. He has to destroy a card on his field. He's going to destroy this Repose. Repose is going to return 3 banished cards, up to 3 banished, so he's just going to bring back Awakening to the graveyard. Next, I'm not sure actually how this Catabellus is being summoned here. I think, it looks like it can just summon itself if you control a Evil Eye monster in the grave. And then he's just going to target the Celine, and it can't be destroyed by battle, or card effects rather, for the turn. And I'm not sure what we're missing here. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think he was just misclicking there. Repose is going to be activated here, and that is going to be chained with an Omega, it looks like. So Omega is going to go ahead and hit a random card out of the hand, which is Gateway to Chaos. And he gets to draw a card, and he draws into the card that you set Gateway to Chaos off of, which is Set Rotation. So you're playing a 1-of to set a 1-of. So I think he definitely said that Gateway to Chaos was a terrible choice on his part, but yeah. So Surzeal is going to be attacking 41 over the Charles, so he's going to take 1100 damage, and then Repose can activate and banish Charles. Then all 3 of those cards can go to the graveyard, and Magus' effect is going to go ahead and target 3, I believe, and including in the banish zone, shuffle them all back into the deck and draw 1 card. So Oliver, Charles, and Ogier are all shuffled back in the deck, and he can draw a card. He draws into Ogier. Unfortunately, I don't think that's exactly the correct draw he wanted here, but I think it'll be fine. Then the Renaud dies off of the Captabellus' attack. So, yeah, this is a lot that's going on here, but Omega is going to go ahead and return, and Chaos is returned to hand. Then he can go ahead and use Zefra's effect to send... Oh, it's going to get hit with a Ghost Ogre here, but then that's going to be... I guess protected with a Zephyr Providence. You technically don't chain since it doesn't start a chain, but yeah, so Zefraxa is going to be sent to the pendulum scale, and then he's going to pendulum summon for 3 cards, summoning Roland, Ogier, and Zefra Nui. Then he's going to use Zefra Nui's effect as well as Ogier's effect to send a copy of Joyce to the graveyard. Joyce, I don't know, something like that. And then he's going to search for a Zephyr Providence, and then he's going to synchro or not synchro, but link off into a Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. And this card, since it was summoned with Omega, cannot be targeted. So that's pretty nice. Surzeal won't be able to target here, I don't believe, because I'm pretty sure it does target, but he won't be able to target it here. And then the effect of, I guess he's going to go ahead and destroy Roland. And then he's going to obviously gain some attack as well here. Then this copy of Catabellus is going to be swung over the Blackluster Soldier of Chaos, and he's going to banish the Surzeal, which is going to make the Selene fall off, obviously. And then he's going to go ahead and set Divine Strike and activate Zephyr Providence to search for Zephyr Roar. So Zephyr War, not Roar, sorry. Thinking like Salamangreat Roar. Then in the graveyard, or at the end of the turn, Roland's effect is going to trigger here to add a equip spell from the deck to hand. Then moving on to his opponent's turn, Evil Eye Awakening is going to be activated here. That's going to be chained with a copy of Divine Strike to negate it. And then he's going to banish the Zephyr Nui from the graveyard. And since he obviously has no more extenders here, he's just going to pass, or not pass, but scoop up the game. So we're going to move into game number 2. And if you see in the chat, he says, I'm regretting putting Exodia in my side. So he goes ahead and starts off with a copy of Terraforming to search for, not Surzeal, but we get corrected here. He searches for Pareidolia. He just skipped a step. And then Pareidolia is going to be adding a Evil Eye monster from the deck to hand. And then this Surzeal is going to be normal summoned and search for a copy of Selene. Next, he can go ahead and activate Selene, activate Evil Eye Awakening to special summon the Catabellus from the deck. And then he's going to go ahead and use the Selene, obviously, to lose 500, and then he's going to use Catabellus to put a counter on Selene so it can't be destroyed during the next turn. So, Malefic Lord starts his turn with a copy of Dragon Shrine, sending Darkworm to the graveyard, special summoning it back, and then he can go ahead and search for a Gate 0. Then he's probably going to, activate Terraforming, search for Zefra, Oracle of Zefra, and then Oracle of Zefra is going to go ahead and search him for Zephrath here. Then he can scale the Zephrath, use the effect to send a Zefra Nui to the extra deck. Scaling the Gate 0, then he can go ahead and Pendulum Summon for 3 monsters. Since this Gate 0 actually can't be Pendulum Summoned because he is a scale 7 and this is a level 7, so he actually can't Pendulum it, which is interesting. Zephyr Nui and Zephraxi are going to be chained here to make it a tuner as well as to search, and that's going to be chained with a copy of Surzeal to pop the Zephyr Nui. And Selene is obviously going to lose 500, and the monster's going to gain 500. He's going to search for a Zephyr Providence, which is a little too late, unfortunately, since Zephyr Nui has already been destroyed. But he can go ahead and still synchro or not synchro, but I guess link off into a Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. And I believe he did not use a level 7 monster. Yeah, he used the Darkworm, the Roland, and the Zephraxi. So this can be targeted, unfortunately. So he's going to attack over the Catabellus, and that's going to be hit with a copy of Evil Eye Defeat. And Defeat's going to shuffle it back into the extra deck, and then Selene is going to give it a boost. Unfortunately, Malefic Lord happened to lag out at this point, but I do have the replay at the point where we lagged out. So this is the exact point where we lagged out, I believe. So obviously you can check all the stuff here. This should be almost identical, and their hands did have the correct cards in them. So we will continue from this point. We are currently in the main, or the battle phase, I guess, at this point, technically. So he's going to go into main phase 2 and use Zephyr Providence to search for a copy of Zephyr Roar. I think I keep saying Roar, but it's War with a W. They sound very similar, but I'm saying War. Then Roland is going to search for an Ogier in the end phase. And then during the standby phase, this copy of Surzeal has to resolve to go ahead and pop a card on the field. I believe he's going to cop, the Catabellus, and then probably just bring it back. But we have Basilius, which is another monster that you can special summon. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can summon it from your hand. And then he can go ahead and use the effect to send an Evil Eye spell trap to the grave. And then he's going to use the effect of Capital Bellis to bring itself back, and then make this Celine protected for the next turn. Then he's going to normal summon a copy of Medusa, which can target an Evil Eye card in the graveyard and add it to the hand. That's going to get hit with a Zefra Divine Strike to banish the Zefra Nui. And then he's going to go ahead and link off into a copy of Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eye. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Zephyr War to pop it with the field spell. He's going to attack for 3,600 and then set this copy of Crackdown and pass his turn. So he has a couple interruptions here, at least two, a pop of a special summon monster as well as a take, which is really nice. So Heritage of the Touch is going to be activated to search for Renaud, and then he's going to go ahead and normal summon Ogier to send a card to the graveyard, I assume. It looks like he's thinking here, though. Then he's wondering what he added, and he added Renaud. If he controls the Fire Warrior, he can special it, and that's going to be chained with a Crackdown. Unfortunately, this Ogier is still going to resolve, because it doesn't negate the card. It just can't activate its effects, but the effect is already activated, so you have to resolve it, which means that Durandal is going to be sent to the graveyard. And then Zephrath is going to be activated here to send Zefra Nui to the extra deck, and then he is going to Pendulum Summon for two monsters, being the Zefra Nui as well as the Renaud. And then he's going to use Zefra Nui's effect and Renaud's effect to make it a tuner. And he's going to add Durandal from the graveyard to the hand with Renaud. I think, oh, actually, this doesn't make it a tuner. It only makes it a tuner if you summon it through his own effect. So good thing that I caught it there. Zefra Nui is going to add a Zephyr Providence from the deck to the hand. And then he's going to use the Durandal targeting Zefra Nui. And then he should be able to search here, but that's going to be chained with a copy of Surzeal to pop the Zefra Nui. But he thought ahead because he's going to use the Zephyr Providence from the previous turn to protect his copy of Zefra Nui, so it won't be destroyed. And then he can go ahead and obviously Surzeal will give another 500 attack, and this Durandal will search for a copy of Oliver. Then he obviously already normal summoned, so this Oliver's kind of dead in the hand, but yeah. Then Durandal gets destroyed through its own effect, and Zephyr Providence is going to be activated here, and unfortunately, Baloney ends up lagging out here, so I do have the replay from where we ended off previously, so this is identical as well. I think their life points do need to be fixed here, so one of them's at 55, the other one's at 44, but other than that, I think that it's fine. So we'll just have to remember that Baloney's at 55 and Malefic Lord's at 44. So Oracle of Zephyr is going to be searched here, and a copy of Zephraxi is going to be added off of that. And then he is going to pass his turn Then Surzeal is going to resolve, in fact, to pop a card. He's going to pop this copy of Pareidolia. And then he is going to... It looks like the life points are corrected here. I think that Baloney should be 500 life points lower than he is, so I'm a little confused why he is not, but maybe I missed something. I don't think so, though. So Medusa is going to be normal summoned here, and he's going to use the effect. Then he's going to add a copy of Evil Eye Defeat to the hand, and then special summon a copy of Cantabellus with its own effect. And then he is going to go ahead and use its effect to protect the Celine, and then link off into a Unicorn using those three monsters, using Unicorn to discard this Ghost Ogre to shuffle Zephrath into the extra deck. Or sorry, not in the extra deck, to the main deck. Then he's going to go ahead and go into battle phase, attack over Renaud, and then it's going to be sent to the graveyard and passing his turn. So Malefic Lord draws for turn, drawing a copy of Durandal, and he's going to use it on the Zefra Nui and using the effect to send a copy of Malgus to the graveyard, or maybe to hand. I think he might have just misclicked. Yep. Then he's going to use Oliver's effect to go ahead and, or maybe he was just revealing it. Actually, I'm not too sure. Or does it special summon itself? Oh yeah, okay, so you can send a Fire Warrior and then special from the hand as a level 1 monster. So that is kind of cool. And then it looks like he's going to use Malgus' effect to go ahead and shuffle 3 back into the deck and draw a card, drawing into Zephraxi. And then he's going to link off into a copy of Ausa, and it looks like there are no Earths in his opponent's graveyard, unfortunately, so you can't get the whole effect of this, but he can Pendulum Summon, which is nice, but he can only Pendulum Summon Necroz and Zephrath monsters, or Zefra monsters, but Baloney is going to let that go through. And then he's going to Pendulum Summon for a copy of Zefra Nui and a Zefraxi, making it a tuner, as well as searching for a copy of Zefra Providence, the third one in this game. Just like a lot of grind potential here, it seems. Then this copy of Ausa is going to be attacking over the Unicorn, but it's not going to obviously attack it all the way because it's going to be killed, and then Ausa is going to get the effect to go ahead and search for a copy of Zefraxi, which is a really nice little neat interaction there. Zefra Providence can also search for a copy of Oracle Zefra, just so he has extra protection in the graveyard, and then he's going to synchro into a copy of Charles. Cerseal is going to be used here to go ahead and pop it, and then he's going to set a card and pass his turn. Then this copy of Evil Eye Defeat is going to target a monster on the field and return it to the hand, and unfortunately he is going to scoop up the game right there. So moving into game number 3, Malefic Lord is going to start off here for the first time here, and he's going to send a Dark Home to the graveyard, use the effect to go ahead and search for a copy of Gate 0. Then Oracle of Zefra is going to be used here to search for Zefrath, and he's going to scale the Zefrath, sending the Zefra Nui to the extra deck, and then scale Gate 0. Also activating a copy of Durendal to go ahead and search for a level 5 or lower Fire Warrior, which is Oliver, and then he can go ahead and normal summon this Oliver and link it off into, or synchro it off into an Omega, and that's going to get hit with a Gamma. Kind of ironic there that the side frame cards hit each other. Zefra Providence is going to be activated here to search for a copy of Zefraxi, and then he's going to Pendulum Summon here, so he didn't really commit a whole lot to his board, so he kind of just forced out this Gamma pretty much. So it's going to make the Zefra Nui tuner, as well as search for a copy of Zefra Divine Strike, and then he's going to synchro into Charles, and then he's going to use the effect of Oliver to special or add it to the Charles, and then it is can't be targeted with card effects, which is really nice. Then at the end phase, the Gamma and Driver are obviously banished, and then Evil Eye Remergence is going to special summon an Evil Eye token to the field, so that's kind of interesting. And then he's going to use a Basilisk's effect to go ahead and special summon it, since he controls an Evil Eye monster. And then he can go ahead and use the second effect to go ahead and send a Evil Eye Spell Trap from the deck to the grave. So he's going to send Evil Eye of Gorgonio, which is another equip spell we haven't seen yet. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Awakening, I think, possibly. I'm not sure, or maybe he's using Gorgonio to banish this card and discard an Evil Eye card and then add a spell trap. Okay, that makes sense. I believe he activated Selene, or added Selene there, and Selene's going to be used on Basilius, and then he's going to activate Evil Eye Confrontation, which is going to target a spell trap that your opponent controls and destroy it, which is also kind of nice. I guess this is it's like an okay spell or trap removal, but realistically, Cosmic Cyclone does the same thing for 1,000 cost, and you don't have to control an Evil Eye monster, so kind of interesting. Zefra Providence is going to be activated here to protect, but it looks like he's actually just going to banish instead, since he controls Selene, so I think we might have missed something here. So destroy, and if you do, if Evil Eye Selene is in your spell trap, so banish that destroyed card. So the card has to be destroyed in order for it to banish, so obviously the Zefra Providence is going to protect it, so it can't be destroyed and then banished, so that's unfortunate. Evil Eye Pareidolia is going to be used here, and then that's going to be hit with a Zefra Divine Strike, banishing the Zefra Nui out of the extra deck, and then he's going to link off, it looks like, into a copy of Gorgonio, and then use, I believe, the effect of it, it looks like. So he is going to, unless I'm missing something, maybe not. Maybe Pareidolia banishes itself for something. I think I'm missing something here, but Selene is going to be re-equipped from, I believe, its own effect to... This card is in your graveyard, pay 1,000 to banish the Evil Eye Spell Trap. Okay, that's how the Evil Eye Spell Trap got banished. That makes sense. And then he's going to equip it to his monster, but Zefra Roar is going to go ahead and pop his field spell, as well as the Gorgonio, so he doesn't have an equipped target. Then Charles is going to be activated here to equip from the grave, and then one from the deck, and then he's going to use the second effect to go ahead and pop the Selene, and he's pretty clean here, like pretty clear here to just do whatever. So Durandal is going to add a Renode, and then he's going to use Zefrath to send Zefra Nui to the extra deck, and then he's going to Pendulum Summon for 3 monsters? Maybe just 2? Oh no, 3 monsters. And then he's going to synchro into a copy of Chambara, and that should be game because I think this is at 35, and then this is obviously 4,600 damage, so that is 81 just between those two monsters, so that should be game. And yep. So Baloney just says GG's in the chat, and that's it for this game. So a very, very long game. Hopefully I explained it very well. I think I did. I think this is one of the more interesting matchups, but it was definitely really fun to watch. Definitely very fun to commentate, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.